What is up, guys? It is Marcus from Perspective Sports, and yesterday was a huge day in the NFL. We had the NFL first round draft, and we saw history made. We saw 7 first round picks, 4 quarterbacks taken inside the top 10, and I'm here to catch you up on everything that happened while giving my brief analysis on the picks. I don't want to keep you here too long, so I'm going to go into depth on some and give a broad overview of others. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get right into it. And with the first overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield. And the Browns shocked everyone with this pick, including me, because they took Baker Mayfield over guys like Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen. And I'm not necessarily a huge fan of this pick because I feel that Mayfield was about the 4th or 5th best quarterback in this class behind a Darnold, Rosen, Allen, and you can even throw a Lamar Jackson right there. But I do believe that Baker Mayfield will be a mid-tier NFL quarterback. He'll be a starter for a long time in this league, and he'll definitely end the Browns' carousel of quarterbacks. Mainly due to his talent. He's extremely accurate, he's agile in the pocket, and the thing I believe drew John Dorsey the most to Baker was his attitude. That's something you're going to need to turn this ship around. And overall, again, I'm not a huge fan of this pick, but Baker Mayfield will be a solid player in the NFL with the roster John Dorsey is building around him. And the number 2 overall pick was a pick I really did not like. The Giants passed on a quarterback for Saquon Barkley. Now, this is not against Saquon Barkley. He's going to be a good player in the NFL. But you're building around a 37-year-old Eli Manning with 2 years left, max. And looking at next year's class, it isn't going to be anywhere near as good as this class. And on top of that, the Giants will be picking in the top 5 anytime soon, because what are the odds your entire receiving core gets hurt? Your run game is anemic. Your O-line is questionable at best. And your expensive defense plays poorly. It's not likely. You should have taken Josh Rosen here and had him learn under Eli Manning. Rosen is extremely smart. He's accurate, but he's not overly mobile. And Eli Manning is the perfect quarterback to learn how to compensate for that from. Also, there's a ton of guys in this draft who are going to be good running backs. Mark Walton, Nick Chubb. You saw a lot of guys come off the board early because that's how confident teams are in this running back class, and they wanted to get their hands on them early. But there's still a lot of valuable guys left that you could have got in the second round. And again, it's not because I don't think Barkley's going to be good. The guy is going to be really good. But building around a 37-year-old quarterback is asinine, and it makes no sense to me. With the 3rd overall pick, the New York Jets select Sam Darnold, excellent pick. Number 4 overall, the Browns select Denzel Ward, another excellent pick. And number 5 overall, the Denver Broncos pass on Josh Rosen to beef up their pass rush. And this is an excellent selection. The Broncos defense is going to remain dangerous, especially their pass rush. They get Bradley Chubb, the best pass rusher in the draft, to join Von Miller, Brandon Marshall, Shane Ray. Mix that with the offense that now has a legitimate starter in Case Keenum. I think Denver will be a division champ. Next, the Colts took guard Quentin Nelson out of Notre Dame. This is a great selection, the safest pick in the draft. He's going to be an all-pro kind of guy. Up next, the Bills trade up for Josh Allen. And at this point, I was screaming at the TV of how Josh Rosen was still on the board. As you can see, I'm a big Josh Rosen fan. I think the guy's going to be the best out of this class. Actually, about second only behind Josh Allen. But Josh Allen was a great selection. He's going to be a star in this league. He has a strong arm, agile, mobile. He has all the intangibles you want in a quarterback, and he will be great, and he fits the Buffalo Bills conditions and fan base pretty well. And the trade was the Bills received the 7th overall pick, and the Buccaneers would receive the 12th overall pick, 53rd overall pick in the second round, and 56th overall pick in the second round. Overall, a good haul for both teams. And this deal happened after the Broncos backed out of an original trade with the Bills when Bradley Chubb was still on the board. Then the Bills quickly got on the phone with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and got this deal done. With the 8th overall pick, the Chicago Bears select linebacker Quan Smith, and this is a really good pick. This guy is a heat-seeking missile. He's a great open field tackler, and he's going to be a really good NFL player for years to come. At number 9, the 49ers select offensive tackle Mike McGlinchey out of Notre Dame. They're investing in protection of their franchise guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's always a great investment. Up next, the Arizona Cardinals jump on the opportunity to select Josh Rosen by trading up with the Oakland Raiders. And again, I'm going to let it go, but the fact that Josh Rosen was on the board, the most NFL-ready quarterback, the only one who could win from day one, was still on the board at 10 is beyond me. But the Cardinals trade up, get Rosen to take over for Sam Bradford after the season, or if he can't stay healthy. And the deal looks something like the Arizona Cardinals get the 10th overall pick, the Raiders get the 15th overall pick, the 79th overall pick in the 3rd round, and the 152nd overall pick in the 5th round. Overall, it's a good deal for both teams because the Raiders saw talent falling because 4 quarterbacks were taken in the top 10 for the first time ever. And they saw playmakers falling, and they took advantage of it. They got a 15th, they got a 3rd, and they got a 5th round pick. At number 11, the Miami Dolphins take my favorite non-quarterback prospect in this class in safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick's going to be a great player in this league. He's extremely versatile. He can play safety at a high level, corner at a high level. He's the overall prototype for today's defensive players. Up next, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select defensive tackle Vita Vea. As they continue to beef up their pass rush, they're putting him next to Gerald McCoy, Jason Pierre-Paul. And the Bucs will have a very solid pass rush next season, but their secondary is still questionable. Up next, we have the Washington Redskins who select defensive tackle Daron Payne. And this team, the Redskins, they need to build a pass rush. They'll be dealing with Ezekiel Elliott, the Eagles running back core, and now Saquon Barkley. This was a must pick for the Washington Redskins. Up next, the New Orleans Saints trade up to select defensive end Marcus Davenport, and this was a surprising move because teams usually don't typically trade future first-round picks for anything other than the quarterback. That's why I and all the analysts were expecting Lamar Jackson to finally come off the board, and then boom, Marcus Davenport. I like this guy. I like this pick. He's fast, he's agile, and not too many running backs will be able to get away from him. He'll be an exceptional player in the NFL, and the trade looks something like this. The Green Bay Packers receive the 27th overall pick, the 147th overall pick in the 5th round, and a 2019 first-round pick, and the Saints receive the 14th overall pick. Next, the Raiders select offensive tackle Colton Miller. Miller is 6'8", 309, and the Raiders had a hard time keeping Derek Carr clean. He's dealt with some injuries, and it's always a good investment to invest in your offensive line. Up next, the Bills trade up again to select Tremaine Edmonds, and this guy is a stud. 108 tackles last season. He's going to be a very good player in the NFL, and he's only 19 years old. 108 tackles at 19? He won't be 20 till next month. He became the first teenager drafted since 2007, and he's already a very solid player, and he has a lot more time to get even better. The deal was the Ravens get the 22nd overall pick and the 65th overall pick in the 3rd round. The Bills get the 16th overall pick and the 154th overall pick in the 5th round. Up next, the Los Angeles Chargers select safety Derwin James, and this was the guy I was screaming for Green Bay to select at 14. This guy is an absolute stud. He can play safety, corner. He even played a little bit of linebacker. He's going to be an exceptional player in the NFL, and putting him alongside the Chargers secondary with Casey Hayward, that's going to be an excellent pairing. Up next, the Packers trade up after trading back to select cornerback Jair Alexander, and this guy shot up a lot of teams' draft boards over the last 2 nights. He's very, very good. He's a ball hawk, runs a 4.38. He's a playmaker and can survive on an island by himself. This guy is going to be a very good NFL player. The deal was the Green Bay Packers get the 18th overall pick and the 248th overall pick in the 7th round, and the Seattle Seahawks get the 27th overall pick, the 76th overall pick in the 3rd round, and the 186th overall pick in the 6th round. Up next, we have the Dallas Cowboys selecting linebacker Latent Vander Ash, and I love this guy. He's the Boise State product, and the man can play. There was a huge difference in Boise State's defense when he was on and off the field. He's fast, he has a 40-inch vertical, and I think he's going to be a special player. Up next, the Lions select center Frank Ragnar, and the Patriots were reportedly enamored with this guy, and to no surprise, Matt Patricia, the former Patriots defensive coordinator, saw what Bill and the Patriots saw in Ragnar. He's going to be a solid player, and he was a good selection for the Lions. Up next, the Bengals select guard Billy Price. He's a lineman that I really do like too. With the Andy Dalton taking an absolute beating last year, this is the perfect pick for Cincinnati. Up next, the Tennessee Titans trade up to select linebacker Rashad Evans, and the Titans need to build a viable defense, and finding Rashad Evans in the mid-late 1st round is an excellent pick. He's going to be a really good player in the NFL. And the deal was the Ravens get the 25th overall pick and the 125th overall pick in the 4th round, and the Titans get the 22nd overall pick and the 215th overall pick in the 6th round. Next, the New England Patriots select guard Isaiah Wynn, and the Pats lost big-time production on the offensive line when Nate Solder decided to sign with the New York Giants. Wynn can play left tackle, and I don't think the Pats would have drafted him if they didn't think he could. Overall, this is a really good pick for New England. I was thinking Lamar Jackson, but they chose to beef up the offensive line, understandably so. And so at this point in the draft, we had no wide receivers taken inside the top 20 for the first time since 2010, and the Panthers immediately select wide receiver DJ Moore over Calvin Ridley. Moore was the Big Ten wide receiver of the year. He has a 37-inch vert, soft, reliable hands, breakaway speed, can return kicks, and I know that Cam Newton is ecstatic right now. The Ravens finally use one of their draft picks up next after trading back twice, and they'll select tight end Hayden Hurst. And this was exactly what the Ravens needed, a pass catcher who can block. Excellent selection. Up next, the Falcons select wide receiver Calvin Ridley, adding another big-time target to their already excellent core of wide receivers. Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel, two excellent pass-catching backs, and now Calvin Ridley. Matt Ryan has got to be the happiest quarterback in NFL history. Up next, the Seattle Seahawks select running back Rashad Penny, and this is a really good pick. I remember when this happened, I was like, a first-round selection for Penny surprised me. I thought you can get him in the third round, fourth round, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. He has speed, he has some power, and the most important thing is he doesn't have a lot of miles on him. He only saw a lot of time last year because of Donnell Pumphrey was at San Diego State. He was in the Heisman contention. He was a big-time guy. He was getting all the carries, and that's what made him more attractive to Seattle. He's just as talented with a lot less miles. Next, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected safety Terrell Edmonds, brother of Tremaine Edmonds, and Terrell racked up 6 interceptions over the last 2 years, had 101 tackles in 2016, and it seems like 100-plus tackle seasons running this family. He's physical, and he fits the Steelers' mantra. This also marked the first time we ever had two brothers selected in the first round of the same year. Next, the Jacksonville Jaguars select defensive tackle Taven Bryan out of Florida, and the Jags continue to add to their illustrious defense by adding Bryan. He's going to be an excellent rotation player in his rookie year, and the Jags, they have the right staff to develop him and turn him into an exceptional player. Next, the Minnesota Vikings select cornerback Mike Hughes, and they add to their already deep cornerback stable. Hughes has solid ball skills, but he has really off-putting off-the-field issues such as things like sexual assault. And really, if there were no off-the-field issue, he'd easily be a top 15 guy. This guy is really talented, and the rich just got richer in the Minnesota Vikings secondary. Next, the New England Patriots selected running back Sony Michel, and the Patriots took two Bulldogs in the first round. Michel will be replacing Dion Lewis. Michel is extremely elusive, has breakaway speed. I see him playing a little bit of special teams for New England. And overall, this is an excellent pick. And this guy is another guy without a lot of miles on his body. Remember, they had Nick Chubb there in Georgia, so Michel wasn't getting all the carries. And the Ravens trade again. This time they're trading up to select quarterback Lamar Jackson. And we're going to talk about why Lamar Jackson fell down to 32nd in just a second. Let's go over the trade. The Eagles get a 2019 second-round pick, and the Ravens get a 32nd overall pick, the last pick in the first round. And Lamar Jackson fell all the way down to 32nd, and it's kind of ironic because Teddy Bridgewater, another Louisville quarterback, fell all the way to 32nd, and then the Vikings had to trade up to 32 to select him. But Jackson didn't fall because of race. That's lazy thinking. He fell because the way he handled the pre-draft process, essentially flunking the Wonderlic test, posting a score of 13 when guys like Josh Allen had a 37. He struggled to schedule meetings with teams according to reports such as Arizona. He didn't run the 40, which I don't think played a big factor in this falling. But the reason he didn't run the 40 made no sense. You're afraid someone's going to ask you what they already asked you, and that's to play wide receiver. You could have easily just said no, and that'd be in. Tim Tebow was asked to play tight end. He said no. He still ran his 40. He ran his 40 like a tight end, but he still was drafted as a quarterback and played quarterback in the NFL. We know Lamar Jackson can run a 4.3, but confirmation goes a long way. If he would have posted a 4.3, it'd be really hard to pass on that. But I don't want to sit here and spend too much time on the negative. Let's look at the positive. This guy is a steal. And now that he'll be able to actually sit and learn from a pocket passer like Joe Flacco for 2+ years, he'll be able to mix that knowledge with stuff that he already has that you can't teach. Speed, quickness. He's come a long way inside the pocket. If you look at him, his Heisman year and last year, he's made good strides inside the pocket. So the fact that Lamar Jackson fell to 32 surprised me. I did not see a world him falling out of the first round. But this guy is going to be a steal. But don't say he fell because of his race. That doesn't make any sense. Lamar fell because of the pre-draft process, and this is not a knock on his mom, who's his agent. It's just what happened. I think if you ask both of them, they would say that if they could go back and change some things, they would. But now let's focus on another trade that happened that didn't have a direct effect on last night's draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers deal wide receiver Martavis Bryant to the Oakland Raiders in exchange for the 79th overall pick in the 3rd round. And the Steelers weren't planning on re-signing Bryant anyway, and so they decided to send him to Oakland, who now has Jordy Nelson, Martavis Bryant, and Amari Cooper, giving Carr some real weapons. You have the route running precision of Jordy Nelson, and now the speed of Bryant and the speed of Cooper. The Raiders' offense is going to be a viable offense in this league. As for the Steelers, the 3rd rounder isn't what I would have dealt him for, a 2nd rounder minimum. And if the Steelers weren't planning on signing him, a mid-season trade after a few injuries would have had his value through the roof, or waiting until Calvin Ridley or DJ Moore went off the board would have had his value go through the roof. But nonetheless, this is a decent deal for them. They got a solid haul in the 3rd round, and now they have 2 third-round selections. They don't need a wide receiver. Now they can start adding depth and filling some voids that they have on the roster. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I'll be playing a slideshow of all the trades that happened that night so you can keep up to date on all the picks that maybe your team has traded or acquired. And so I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.